Time to start again. So, we're talking about the growth of fascism. There's a whole lot of stealing going on. There's an American woman named Catherine Austin Fitts. She used to work for two presidents of the United States, G.H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton. And her job under the first president, Mr. Bush, the senior, he wanted her to find out what was wrong with the mortgage markets in the United States. This was before the 2008 collapse, of course. I'm not sure what year she's speaking about, but you can watch her on Dark Journalist if you like. And so she began her investigation. Couldn't find a real conclusion, so when G.H.W. Bush lost his position as president, she picked it up again later under William Jefferson Clinton, and he gave her the same job. Where is the money? What's going on here with the mortgage money? Where is it? So she, during her investigation, it got tied up with the drug world somehow. It looked like, I'm just suggesting, the drug money was making its way into the mortgage business. Quite likely. And with more and more investigation, she discovered that drug money profit from the Colombian drug trade in the United States primarily, but also Canada and England. All three countries were involved, all of them. And it's not a little bit of money, it's billions upon billions of dollars. So in her investigation, she identified several cities in the United States where deposits were being made of cash, a lot of it, to one bank in particular. And that bank had its own deposit boxes for this group involved with the drug trade. So what does she do? She alerts the President of the United States, she alerts the Prime Minister of Canada, and she alerts the Prime Minister of England. And after several discussions, she identified the bank, the cities involved, in the United States, in Canada, and in England. Now, where I'm working right now, I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, and she identified the bank and the deposit boxes, and she had everything. The Prime Minister of Canada at that time did not alert the police, or if he did, it's never been made public, but in her own words she said the government of Canada didn't proceed. The President of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton, did not proceed. But the Prime Minister of England did, and the Prime Minister of England tried to get Canada on board here. Canada refused to do it. Wow, isn't that interesting? So who prosecuted? England did. They sent in New Scotland Yard, it's called now. They continued with the investigation started by the lady in the United States, Catherine Austin Fitts, and people were charged and convicted and did some time and are doing time for it, a lot of it. The money was confiscated and the industry had a little hiccup in movement of money. I'm sure, you know, when there's a lot of money involved, they just find another channel to make it work in, let's say. For Canada and the United States, their leaders said this: if we don't get that money, the pension checks will bounce. We've got to have it. So we have three major cities in Canada. We have Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. There is a retired police officer here named Larry Campbell, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And his entire career as a police officer, he did not make one drug arrest, and he was way up the ladder. He was a big shot. He would not make a drug arrest because, in his own words, it's just too barbaric. So right now, here where I'm living, working, he has open drug, you can shoot up. Nurses are there to load the needles. It doesn't cost anything, it's all free. And the downtown of this beautiful city looks like a goddamn urinal. There are police cars, the red and blue lights are flashing all the time. Pick a street, any street, go there at any time. There are overdoses, there are people dying, and somehow we seem to think that is solving the drug problem. But it does make sure that $7 billion in deposits happens every year and will never be interrupted. In fact, I'm quoting Larry Campbell, they just don't know where the money goes. Catherine Austin Fitts in the United States does know where it goes. She's been very clear about it. Very, very clear. But the government of Canada refused to do anything. The government of the United States would not do anything. So what do you think happens to Catherine Austin Fitts? What do you think happened to her? The thing is, the government of the United States decided to prosecute her. And she's the investigator. So they brought up all kinds of allegations, and so she has to go to court. She's got to protect herself. She has to hire a lawyer. She had a business, an investment company. It took all of her resources, every last penny she had, to protect herself from the government of the United States. And in the final, as it wrapped up, the judge said there is nothing wrong with what she has done. She is innocent of all of these charges. Boom. But she has spent her money, and she couldn't get the money back. Couldn't get it. So, now what does she do? Well, she's impoverished. Economically speaking, impoverished. But she was very lucky, because she had a relative that she had given a lot of money to when she was flush with cash. It was not $1 million, but whatever. So she gets there. She gets this knock on the door, and it's her relative, and he didn't use the money for anything. He said, here's your money back. I don't need it. You need it. Use it. So she started a company again, and she's now relatively successful. But the drug world has grown, and in Canada, where I'm working and living, the drug world is growing very, very fast. There are people who are willing to help you start grow-ups and storefronts for selling marijuana mostly. And they're called the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club members. And in the province of Ontario, the most populated province of Canada, the people getting involved are police officers who are starting their own businesses in the drug world, and members of parliament, and the members of legislature, which I think, I'm not sure where this is going to take us. The problem is the integrity of our system, and my experience has been this, and I'm not the only one. When drugs come in, the quality of life goes down. If you want to go to the downtown core of Vancouver, we could go there right now, you would see people who are economically destitute. They sell their bodies to get money so they can get drugs. Or if they can't get it, they wait for the storefront to open and go in and get a needle. And there are people there who will inject it for you, daub up the blood, give you a spoon. You get these little packages for making crack cocaine. And apparently there's a spoon in it. I've seen them discarded. There's a spoon. I've got a little lighter of some kind, and I don't know, other paraphernalia in that pack to make crack cocaine and a needle, so you can take it out of the spoon and shove it in your arm, and wow. And this, unfortunately, for people like me, when you talk like this, there are people who would really like to see you in harm's way. And there is one police officer in Vancouver who got charged for drug dealing. And as he said, he was bored, so he sold drugs. The police in Canada, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm going to tell you because I think it's important. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police hires people, young people, and they sometimes don't have a high school diploma, so they get a thing called the GED, which is a grade equivalent diploma. I don't know how you managed to do this. I know one police officer, a Vancouver police officer, who quit school in grade 8. He eventually became the captain of his department. He lives not very far from me, and he is very proud to say that he can break your nose with one punch, and he's done it many, many times. He holds a record in Vancouver for the most arrests. He's told me, he said, I worked it out early in my career, that the more people you arrest, the faster up the ladder you go. He says, it's all production work. A woman cop friend of mine from New Westminster, where I'm currently renting, she went from here, she filled up her pension, she went to Vancouver City, filled up her pension there, now works for SkyTrain, which is supposedly federal. She told me, she says, policing is all about money, and only about money. There is nothing else to this. She's a hockey girl. Gordie. I don't know if anybody knows the Gordie Howe salute. Gordie. Gordie was famous for using his elbows to break your nose or break your ribs, or when he was coming in, look out because the elbows come up and he's going to hurt you. So anyway, she's a hockey girl, and I know her well, and I said to her, You know, I've noticed when I worked I worked with Vancouver City police officers that they're mostly rugby boys. She goes, yeah, and the women are hockey girls. Oh, they only hire from 2 sport groups, rugby, hockey. Those are the sport groups, and they're favored people. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, on the other hand, when you start working for them, your starting wage is $75,000 a year. That's how much you start at. In 3 months, you go up. So they want, you know, you're trimming your sails and cutting your jib or whatever else you're doing to get your career going. And you're going to make a lot of money. Probably a whole lot of money. If you do what Larry Campbell did, just stay away from the drugs, because the drug thing is dangerous. It isn't just a little bit dangerous, it's really, really dangerous. And you're going to run into people like Hells Angels Motorcycle Club members. And I have to stop right now. So, toodly-doo.